Welcome to sports. I'm Lindsay Studstill. For the first time since 2013, the Tampa Bay Rays have made the postseason.
And it's been a couple weeks since you got to play in a Lakeshore uniform, so how did it feel to be back in the uniform, back on the field and supporting your team?
It felt great, honestly.
Meet Colt and Kovu, the Bat Dogs for the Madison Mallards, and the only two-dog working team in the country. And while fans typically come for action on the field, these two definitely steal the show in between batters.
When people think of Tom Petty and the Florida Gators, their minds instantly run to the flashing lights and Petty's "I won't back down" at the end of the third quarter of football games. This season, however, the Gators are taking the tradition across the street to the gymnastics floor.
Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean are headed back to March Madness.
And is there a story behind the wolf chain? Like, who created it? Is there anything behind there?
One of our interns came up with it, and then they bedazzled it.
The Miami Marlins have made history today by hiring the first ever female and first ever Asian American general manager. The Gator men's basketball team is going dancing. Not salsa dancing though, dancing to the NCAA tournament.
And Mitch, we're here at ISG Field, and I know you spend a lot of days here, so you know this park really well. What are some of the areas that are going to be easier to hit home runs out of? What are some of the secrets to this field?
Yeah, this is definitely more of a left-handed, I would say, power kind of park. I think that's.
The Florida Gators woke up Saturday on a two-game losing streak where their offense collapsed in the final minutes, leading to frustrating defeats. In today's game against Georgia, it was more of the same. This time, though, without the defeat.
Former Gator and Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Carlos Dunlap has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks for offensive lineman B.J. Finney and a 7th-round pick in the 2021 draft. It's finally time to welcome Felipe Franks back to the Swamp when the Gators take on Arkansas this weekend.
Challenge here at ISG Field, and right out of the bat we have a special guest with us. This is Larry Rose, a former Gator and the umpire supervisor for the Northwoods League. Larry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing.
The number 6 Gator softball team clinched a series win over number 9 Kentucky, but came short of the sweep with a 4-2 loss in extra innings on Sunday. As Florida aims to reopen facilities on Monday, Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland gave the public an update on the status of the athletes today. The Gator soccer team travels to Orange Beach, Alabama for their first matchup of the SEC tournament. The Miami Heat have claimed their season series against the Orlando Magic with a 102-97 win last night. New Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White is bringing a touch of his old home to Knoxville. White hired former UCF head coach Josh Heupel as Tennessee's new head football coach. White originally hired Heupel at UCF in 2017 after former Knights coach Scott Frost was hired at Nebraska. Heupel led UCF to a 28-8 record in 3 seasons. Now at Tennessee, he inherits a team that lost 7 of its last 8 games to finish the 2020 season with a 3-7 record. Heupel got his first taste at life in the SEC in 2016 when he served as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Missouri. That's all for sports. Back to you, Taylor.
Most anyone who's heard of Grant Holloway is well aware of his record-breaking achievements. Collegiate record in the 60-meter hurdles, 4-time NCAA champion, finalist for the Bowerman. But for Holloway, dedicating time to connecting with the Gainesville community is more rewarding than any of his athletic accomplishments.
Just a couple weeks ago, I was praying and I asked God what was my purpose. And probably about 2-3 weeks ago, I finally had like a click in my mind that my purpose, the reason why I'm on earth is to inspire, motivate, and make people smile. It's not to run hurdles. It's not to try to go out the world records and be a part of a relay here at University of Florida, but it's just honestly just making people smile and just inspiring people just to go out and live their life in the best way that they want to.
I would say one of the biggest differences between Grant, freshman Grant, and Grant now is his faith. I think that when he took a moment to step back from some of the things that were happening on the track, and they were really great things, and realize who he wanted to be as a person and what kind of platform he wanted to have, he was really able to turn up the dial and make some changes and really get involved in the community.
I always had the mentality that it's better to give than receive, and I know I get a lot of things just because I'm here at University of Florida. I'm blessed to be a part of this Gator team, but it's just honestly just making people smile and just inspiring people just to go out and live their life in the best way that they want to.
It's just a good feeling to know he's a good type of person. He likes to give back and volunteer and does all that things for the kids and everything. It's just that's how you know he's a real genuine. He's the all around good person.
One of the cool things about Grant is he's never met a stranger, for better or for worse. So when we walk into the school, he is immediately friends with the office staff, and then it's corralling him and getting him into the classroom. But once he's in the classroom, he's engaged with all of the students there.
And there is one story Grant knows will always stick with him.
I went to a school and I delivered kids of the less fortunate. I gave them shoes. And one kid, you could tell his shoes were all beat up. He had holes and the tongues were showing, like they usually say, like the shoes talking. So he had talking shoes, and when he got his shoes, I will always remember, his name was Ryan. Ryan opened his shoes and he looked at me, he said, "Thank you." And like right when he said thank you, I just felt my body just get warm and tingly, and like I just broke down crying in front of him. And then he was like, "Why are you crying?" And I just said, just because like nobody really says thank you, not no more. So for him to say thank you, and just for him just to have a new pair of shoes and some socks just to keep him warm, and some shoes just to play around in the grass is just it's a great experience.
I would say it's very rare to have a student athlete who is as great on the field, really want to give back to the Gainesville community, and care about the people that are coming out and like rooting for him as a Florida Gator.
When you win a championship, it's for yourself, it's for the team. That feels good, don't get me wrong, but like when you know you're helping somebody like life-wise, mentally-wise, it doesn't compare, because you know that's someone that can use the shoes for a living. Championships are secondary. Like you don't need to win a championship in order to stay alive in this world. I mean, you don't need shoes, but shoes play a central part in your life. When I can give some of that gear down to people who actually need clothes, who actually need shoes, who actually need socks, in this Gainesville community, it means way more to me than anyone can imagine.
Grant Holloway, a champion on the track and a leader in the community. For Gator Zone, I'm Lindsay Studstill.
It's opening week of the Northwoods League season at Wade Stadium in Duluth, Minnesota. And there's one St. Cloud Rocks pitcher who most people thought would never make it this far. Meet Johnny Dow. His high school coaches told Dow he would never be good enough to do what he loves: play baseball at the collegiate level. They told him he isn't big enough or strong enough and probably never will be. It didn't happen just once for Dow. It happened twice. The right-handed pitcher was cut from his high school baseball team his freshman year of high school.
2 weeks in, when the second round of cuts came out, I realized that my name was on the list and I didn't make it. So I went and talked to the coach and basically told me that it just wasn't my time right now and to work harder, come back next year. So that's exactly what I did.
But that didn't work out either.
And sophomore year of high school, tried out again and got cut even earlier the first round that year. And basically he told me I just didn't throw hard enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't good enough, and just wouldn't be able to play there.
Dow is certainly throwing hard enough now. Dow is now pitching for Georgia Highlands Junior College. With an added 50 pounds of muscle and a fastball that has increased by 15 miles per hour, he has become one of the top weapons for the Chargers over the past 2 years. This season, he went 8-1 with a 1.97 ERA and 66 strikeouts. And now, he's earned a scholarship to play Division I baseball at Georgia Southern in the fall.
Yes, it's amazing. After the COVID season in 2020, when I put up pretty good numbers, I was super excited to see the offers I was going to get. Especially with COVID, it was hard to get any offers. The rosters were still full, no one was leaving. But I'm extremely blessed to be able to play Division I baseball after what happened with high school and just my whole career, and I'm very excited to get there this fall.
His current manager simply can't believe he was cut from his high school team. Not once, but twice.
Yeah, that's incredible. But that just speaks to the type of person he is. He shows up every day and he puts in the work. And to be cut not once but twice, it's just the resiliency that he's shown. He's had to work to get to where he is.
An unwavering work ethic that has put Dow on the radar of coaches and hitters across the league, including St. Cloud Rocks field manager David Bellamy.
Yeah, just the way he goes about his business, just day in and day out. He's really quiet, really reserved, but he shows up every day and he acts like a pro, and that's what we talk about here in St. Cloud is, just be a pro. That's kind of our one rule here. We don't have a lot of rules. We have just the standard, the St. Cloud standard is what we call it, and it's just be a pro, and he just kind of resembles that, and he shows up every day. He has a routine, and he goes about his work in a professional way.
But there was a time when Dow didn't think he would get the opportunity to play in the Northwoods League or even play at all. Some would have given up on baseball forever. Not Dow. He considers this journey towards the major leagues a challenge.
Absolutely did take that as a challenge. That has been my biggest motivation through baseball my entire life, and it's what keeps me going today.
Dow never played one inning of high school baseball. His plans included enrolling as a full-time student at Kennesaw State University, until he got the call from the coach at Georgia Highlands Junior College.
It was everything to me. I really thought my baseball career was done after high school, and when Dash O'Neill reached out to me and asked me to play, it meant everything to me, and I took it as serious as possible and worked as hard as I could, and I'll never forget that school. It means everything to me.
Just as Dow keeps working towards achieving his big league dreams, he hopes his story inspires the 9th and 10th graders finding themselves in a similar situation.
Just keep working. High school baseball isn't everything that it seems to be. I don't know what I missed out on. I've heard stories, but I'm very happy with where I am in life, and just continue to work hard. There's always a spot for someone if you work hard enough.
And you too could find yourselves playing baseball at Wade Stadium in Duluth or any other Northwoods League ballpark, just like Johnny Dow. Lindsay Studstill, Northwoods League Now.